And to turn off the water, I got to come down to our shark bite shut-off valve, and I'm just going to go perpendicular to the direction of the supply line, which is this line here. And so what I've got to do is unhook the attachment here, and I think I'm going to probably unhook it here because I got to take the water closet off, and then I got to move this. I'm going to put it in the toilet because we're going to rip up the floor. So first step is pulling the toilet, and so I'm going to put this little bucket that I had from before under here in case I've got any water coming out of there. Grab my channel locks. There we go. I should be able to spin it with my hands in a second here. Let's see, yeah. Now there's probably water in the water closet, so it may leak out. That's why you need this thing. Make sure that you turn this to the off position, because if you don't, well, you'll have water squirting out of there like a son of a gun. So next I'm gonna loosen up with the day. And again, righty tighty, lefty loosey. I'm just gonna loosen this up. And as you can see, it's just coming off. It takes a while. Just gotta get it loose. And I can spin it with my hand. There we go. Now, there's probably gonna be some water dripping out of here. So, oh, no, we're good. Yeah, a little bit, see? That's why you need the little thing here. Gravity's gonna pull it down. Now, so you could just pull the whole toilet and just throw it in there, which I probably do, because that'll be the easiest. So I've got to pop this off, and then we got to unscrew these. Basically, that's all there is to it. One on each side. And you're going to have an open sewer, so you're going to need.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this the size of the hole and tape this on top.
She's going to try to plug it up. So this is a little dirty, but don't lose any of these parts because you're going to need them. And hopefully it comes off, because sometimes on old ones, they get stuck and you can't get them off. So that's all that, and then we can just pull this off. Save all that. I'm going to put it up here where we won't lose it. Okay, now we got to do the other one on the other side.
And is that the only thing that's holding the toilet down?
Yep, that's it.
Oh.
And in here.
Your feet.
Yeah, well, I got to get in here.
I know, I would have cleaned it out. Actually, it wasn't coming off. That black stuff's all over it,
Okay, that one's popped. All right, she doesn't want me in here, so I'm going to get out of here. And channel lights, please.
Not what I said.
Channel lights, please. You can, if you want, you can go outside and relax for a bit, and I'll get this done, and then you don't have to watch.
You want me to help you lift it up?
Yeah, but I ain't there yet. You want to keep a watchful eye on me in case I do something wrong.
No.
All right, so we're going to get this one off. Same thing, just got to get it loose. And then I can do it with my fingers. There we go. Okay, that's off. Take those off. And that's it. All right, back over to the other side to remove the water supply line and then to take off the universal flow valve.
I'm holding it.
All right, out. Still turning? Here we go.
I'm holding it.
I'm so stupid. Well, that was going the wrong way. That's why it wasn't working. All right, there we go. All right, so we got these off. We'll just leave those to the side. Get this off of here. All right, that's what holds the universal flow valve to the water closet. And then, all right.
This trash?
I can put a new one in there. Let's save it. So anyway, I'm going to rebuild the entire interior of this toilet water closet. Those two bolts down there, we've got to loosen them from underneath the toilet. So I got to crawl under there. Okay, so you're going to get to see me do all this work from the underside of the toilet. See those bolts right there? I got to remove those. All right, so what I'm doing is just getting this loose. And then I'm going to try to hand spin it. See, this thing would work great if I could get on it, but I'm just a little bit short, so I got to loosen it up. There we go. See? It'd be nice if we might have some water slip out of here, but all right, there we go. Now, let's see if I can get my hand on it. Yeah, there we go. So this will come right out, off. Water's gonna come out, of course. All right, so anyway, as you can see, I've almost got the screw off. I just got a little bit farther to go. And there's one on each side, and you want to save those. You don't want to throw them away. There's a washer and a bolt, not a screw, a washer and a bolt. Now I come up here, I just pull it right out. So this. There's the whole, and this is a messy screw. I got new screws, but we're going to save these anyway. And you can see, look at my hand. That's from that screw. It's the rubber that is just basically. All right, so same thing under here.
Want me to hold this?
I just gotta get it, turn it to the left. Okay. It's loose.
Yeah, but if you hold it, I can turn it from up here a lot easier than you doing it.
No, it's loose. You can't, it doesn't matter, it's getting everywhere. Not much I can do about it. So this is on both sides, you gotta do this. Okay, so we got them both off of there, and it's a mess because it's so old, but we're gonna redo the whole thing. And we're gonna clean it all up. All right, so now you might wanna get, now the thing is I think you might wanna get a plastic bag or something.
Pick it up.
I'm gonna put it in here. So we're gonna set something in there so that we don't get the wax ring or whatever's underneath there all over the
So
place.
like, what should I put down there? A garbage bag?
Yeah, garbage bag. You wanna grab one?
Yeah.
So now I can tip this and drain the water out. Right there. You see? Makes it lighter. Gets it out of there. And you can see how dirty those things are. So we may clean this out a little bit too. And I gotta pull that flush valve out of there, which I will do. And all I'm gonna do is just lift this up and put it right in the shower. Okay, so I'm gonna take the water closet off first. And all I'm gonna do is just lift it up, just like that. And I'm gonna set it in here. I'm just gonna set it down right there. Now, all right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick this up, I'm gonna put it in there, and hopefully she's gonna catch the whole thing.
How about I help you pick it up?
Okay, that's what it looks like underneath there. Of course, there is water in it, so it makes it a little bit heavier,
Yeah,
but
could have helped you.
we'll set her down right there.
Shit.
All right, so I'm gonna take this water closet outside, and we're gonna take it all apart and clean it. My honey is going to finish the scraping in here. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna pull all this stuff out of here. I'm gonna pull the flush valve out, and to do that, I gotta come on the bottom, pop this off. You can see that this thing, look at that, pretty gross. Flip it over, and I gotta pull that off. You need a special tool, and it's called a plumber's wrench. We come over here. I happen to have one in my plumbing equipment, and this is what's going to take that off of there. As you can see, you got to set it on there like that, and then you tighten it down, and then remember it's righty tighty, lefty loosey. All right, so anyway, I jammed it on there. Let's see if we can get it to move. There we go. That's it right there. Now you're gonna have to reach in on the inside and hold that center. Well, maybe not. Looks like it's coming right off. So we're good. This thing's got to be, I don't know, 25 years old. That's it. Bam, done. So that's off. Now we just got to get this off of here. And that, it's got a little thing on there. Pull that off. All right, so that's off and that's off. Now we got to get this off.
I'm assuming you don't need this.
All right, you can see one of the problems with this thing is that see how it moves on the inside? That's one of the reasons this wasn't flushing right. So I got a new handle for it, and we'll put that on there. All right, so we got to get that off of there. Got to get it loose, and then once we get it loose, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Remember which way to go. Pulls off like that, and you pull it out. Bam, done. Say that just in case you need that nut. You never know. So these are our old parts, and you can see it. This is completely rusted out, and that was not working properly. This was the donut on the bottom of this, and you can see that's all worn out. So it's a good thing that we're changing this out. We're going to completely rebuild this. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it all out and wash it, make it look really nice like it's brand new. That's the first thing. And this was very interesting because this plumber's wrench barely fit that thing. This thing was actually bigger than the wrench, and I had to jam it on with my hammer. But you can see, look, watch. That's how tight it was. We're going to need this later, though, when we put the new one on over here. All right, so let's clean this thing up. Let's get it all wet. So now I'm doing the bottom. But be careful, you don't want to break the thing. Okay, so now I got to do the top. So I'm going to wet it first. You see all that junk in there? That's from years of use. I'm going to do it over here on the grass. That way I don't scratch the thing. Okay, so anyway, we've got our water closet here, and now all we've got to do is replace all the guts inside. Over here is where you're going to put your universal flow valve. Over here is where you're going to put your universal flush valve. And these two right here are where you're going to put the screws and bolts that lock the water closet down to the base of the toilet. So I bought this all-in-one toilet repair, universal easy install fluid master, and supposedly it's got everything in there, including the handle. So this should be what we need to replace and rebuild the guts on this water closet. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So let's take a look and see what's inside this bad boy. This is usually the hardest part, just getting it open. Yep. There we go. And we got her open. All right, so this is our flush valve. There's the plunger. Make sure you take that off. And this is going to go underneath. I'll show you what I mean by that. This, once it goes through, and you put this over it. So let's set that there. We're going to need it. Put that there. This is the flow valve that goes through the toilet, right here. This is the part that goes through, and it sits in it in the corner, just like that. So we'll set that there. And then we've got numerous parts in here that we're going to need. This is our toilet handle. So we've got that. And you'll need this. This supplies the water from the universal flow valve to the universal flush valve spout. And these are your lockdown nuts. Need those. All right, so we're ready to rock. All right, make sure that you put your washer on before you set this down in there. They give you a washer, but they don't have it. For some reason, they didn't have it on this thing. So you got to push that down, get that washer on there. Otherwise, if you put it all together and fill it up, it's going to leak all over the place. All right, so now you got your washer on there, you're good. All right, to put this in, it's very simple. That back hole, just slide it through, and it sits just like that. All right, so when I let go of it, it's going to lay down there. And then you're going to take this part here, and we got to screw it on there. All right, so you're going to reach in at the same time. And first, let's go ahead and get this started. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, as usual. I'm holding it here as I twist in the back. And then you don't want to put it too tight right away because you may have to adjust it. Once I get it twisted on there, I'm not going to tighten it completely, but then there you go, you're right there. Now you can still adjust it, as you can see. There's the top of it. Now you've got to adjust it so that you can get your hose on this little thing, and it's going to come to your universal flush valve spout, which is this top part right here. So you want to make sure that you have this adjusted so you can get to that and put that hose on there. So I would say right about there is going to probably work. And then when we get in there, we'll tighten this down a little bit more, but just to lock it in. So far we're pretty good. We've got our universal flow valve in there, and now we got to put our flush valve in. All right, so when you put the flush valve in, you got to put it in a certain way so it's not in, so you've got to kind of bring it in like this and put it in on a sideways motion like that. But first we got to take off the nut. And if you remember the nut that I had before, it's the exact same kind. It's this big giant nut here. So we're going to roll that off because that goes on the back once we push it through that hole. And I want to show you the attitude that you're going to need for that. Of course, it takes forever to get it off. Just put it here. I'm filming with one hand and doing the stuff with the other. Almost there. There we go. So put that right there because you're going to need that in the back. Now this will fit through there. And it's got a little, right here is a little rubber washer. That's your seal. And so you set it through just like that. Now you want to have your universal flow valve so you can see where you're going to put your little rubber tube. Let me show you that rubber tube. So this rubber tube is going to go on that thing right there, and then it's going to clip onto this once we get it squared away. Let's just set that there. So now I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to hold it with one hand, and then I'm going to go on the bottom, and I'm going to screw that nut in. All right, so anyway, I have to reach my one hand inside the water closet to straighten this out a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm kind of like where I want to have it. And then I'm going to hold it, I'm going to grab the white nut, and I'm going to slide it on there. And all I'm going to do is just basically tighten this down. Just like that. It's not that much to it. Now we're going to put the wrench on it to get it really tight. All right, so anyway, we got it on there. Now we've got to get our little wrench here. All right, so here we are. We got to get our wrench on there. And this one's a little bit smaller than the other one, right? So I got to tighten her down like that, and then we can turn it. Now you want to hold it on the inside at the same time, and you're just going to get it snug inside there. You see I'm getting it pretty snug because you don't want to leak. I need to tighten it just a little bit. Let's get her on there. Okay. You don't want to do it too tight so you break it, but that's it there. Okay, I think we're good. I think that's pretty tight. Now before we put it on, we put this on there. And that's what seals it to keep the water from going into the toilet. All right, let's take a look over here. All right, so anyway, I was holding this while I screwed this on. And we've got a pretty good angle. Now we've got our universal flush valve right here and our universal flow valve hooked up. Now the next part is to hook up our little hose. And that's gonna go on here, and that's gonna go on a little clip here. All right, so I found that it's smart to put it on here before you put it on the stack. So I'm gonna push it right on, like that, you see? And then this is gonna go on this stack here. But we wanna get it on over here too. So hang on, let me get you, put it in here. So I've gotta get it on here too. So I gotta put some, put my hand behind it to hold it, because I really gotta push it to get it on. Okay, so now I'm on there. All right, let's come back over here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring this here, and this is gonna slip right on that. And I gotta put it on this side so that the water flows down. Let me show you. So I'm gonna slip it right on there. Just like that. Then I'm gonna push it down. And now you see the water's flowing into this, because then it comes out the bottom over here. And that's what fills the tank up. So we're hooked on here, right? We're hooked on here. We're good here. We've tightened this down well. And we can tighten this a little bit more. I'm hand tightening it. So now we've rebuilt the entire guts of this toilet. So we've got to take this nut off right here. Righty tighty, lefty loosey sometimes works. And that just slides off. All right, so there we are. So this is going to go on the inside. All right, so I've got to slide this in like that. You'll notice it's square right there. See how that's square? I just got to get the square in there. Bam, done. Now I'm just going to let it float like that. And then I've got to fish this over the top of it. All right? So I don't know if it makes a difference which way you go, but we'll just do it this way. And then we're going to just kind of twist her on. See if I can do that. I'm doing this all with one hand and filming with the other. Oh, there we go. I got it. I think I got it started. That's good. All right, so now we just got to twist it on. I may get a different handle because this one looks kind of cheap. And that tightens. And that's basically it right there. I'm not sure if Lynette's going to like this one. But so much for that. All right, now we're going to take this down in here, and we've got to get it off of this little line here. It's going to come off. Okay, so now you got to hook this onto your thing. And we're going to leave that because I'm going to have to adjust it once we get it in there so we've got the right height on it. But I'm not really happy with this handle. I may have to purchase a different one. We'll see. I bought another one, so we can try that one out too. All right, so I think we're ready to go on this. That looks good. That's done. I bought this extra thick one. This is a regular reinforced one here. That's that size. And this is the extra thick. So this one's got a 5 years, it's got a 10-year warranty. I don't know why. And then I got all my parts here. And then what we've got to do, I've already cleaned this off, as you guys saw already. And we got to put our bolts in, and then we got to put our wax on top of that. And we're going to use this one right here. All right, so you can see the difference. This is the smaller one, and this is the big heavy-duty one. And the more wax you got, the better the seal is going to be. So we're going to go with this one. If we have to, we could also put this on top of it too. But I think we're going to be good with just the one. And we'll send that back to Walmart. All right, here we go. All right, so anyway, these are the bolts that come with, or the, I don't know, I guess you call them bolts, that come with these sets. But they're super long and you have to cut them. Now the ones that we had are still good. I mean, they still look brand new. You know, they're a little bit darker, but they'll work fine. And they're already cut off, so we're going to use those. And what you do is you got to take this and you're going to push it down on it. If you notice, the heads on these screws are elongated like a triangle, so that you've got to put the wide side into that slot perpendicular to it so that it holds. And you notice on top, that little plastic washer, that kind of holds the screw up against the collar. That way, you can bring in your wax ring, set it down, and then you can set your toilet right down on it. And that keeps them in place. You can see they're a little loose, but that's going to get tightened up when you put the bolts on it. And you see the little hole right there? That's where those bolts go. I mean, those screws. All right, so here's our wax ring. And you can pull it off just like this. It kind of like folds off. looks kind of like a cake. I got these gloves on, so it keeps me from getting wax all over my hands. And as you can see, it just sets like that. And so your wax ring goes right like that. And then you can smush it down a little bit, kind of push it in there, just like that. So this is where all the stuff from the toilet goes, right down that hole. And what's cool about this is this also kind of catches these two little things here. So this is super thick. And that should be more than enough. We'll get it on there good. And then smush it around like this. When I put the toilet on, it's going to crush it down. So that's pretty much it there. Just make it nice and smooth in here. You know, you don't really even need this part here, but I mean, it's good to have. So now we've got our wax ring on there. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and take off these gloves. And this is the way you take them off, so you don't get the stuff all over your fingers. All right, let's take a closer look. All right, so there's our ring. It's on there. Our bolts. And now all we got to do is pick up this toilet and set it right on top of that perfectly. So you can see right under here, it's pushed up and this holds it there. So when you tighten it, you're basically tightening it to this collar. So first of all, I don't want to slip and break my neck.
Kind of your foot is right into the top.
I want to set it right there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and lift her up, and we're going to stick her in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on both sides of the toilet. I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to try to guide it into these two bolts
Should we
right
just
here.
do it like this on each side? So
Well, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. But the only thing is then they can't see.
Blow my nose.
They won't be able to see what's going on.
Okay.
So,
Got the bit. Make it easier for yourself.
do you think you can lift it here? All right. So what you got to do is we're going to lift it up, and you got when you see your spot there, and I'm going to see my spot. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you see your thing?
Okay, it's on.
You got your side on?
Yeah. Wait. Oh, it's just heavy. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
You see the bolt?
It's right here.
Okay, I gotta push it. I gotta sit on the toilet now. So you have to get out of the way.
Do you center that more or does it matter?
You have to move out of the way. Because I gotta put the pressure on it to get it to sit down on there.
Right.
All right, so anyway, I'm kind of squishing it down a little bit so those screws will come up through the holes at the base of the toilet. What we gotta, what I'm hoping is that this didn't come out of the slot underneath there. That's a possibility. So when I start to tighten it down, we'll find out. And because the toilet won't be stable if it did pull out, and we'll have to pull the toilet and redo it. Okay, so next I've got to put this little thing on, and I'm going to put this washer on. I'm going to do that on both sides, one there and one there. Let's take a look at it. So look at that's it right there. And now I'm going to put a bolt on that. And I'm going to go from one side to the other and tighten it. I just want to make sure I got it nice in the center. All right, so you got to grab our bolts. I'm going to put one on each side. Drop one on the floor there. And there we go. So far, so good. Okay, that one's on. Now we're going to come over here, put this one on. All right. I'm going to keep your washer in the center. And you want to try to keep this like centered too, because you got to put a cap on it afterwards. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start tightening that baby down. And that's going to pull the toilet down here. Because remember, we got the extra thick wax. So it's going to smush all that wax down in there and form a good seal, hopefully. So let's get our wrench. All right, so I'm going to go back and forth and tighten down each side until I get it all the way down where I want it. All right, so anyway, like I said, I'm going back and forth, and each time I'm making sure that that this is all squared away. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You want to keep the washer in the center and this in the center, so when you're tightening it down here, it doesn't go over the lip, because you got to put a cap on this. All right, so that's important. Looks like we're doing okay. So let's keep going at it, just so you can see from here. I'm going to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do 5 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to come back over here. I'm just going to keep doing that. So you see it's pulling down now. If you look, you can see it's getting tighter and tighter. Up front it's already tight, but it's pulling down on that wax and compressing it against that collar, and so that we don't have a leakage. I hope. We'll find out. And I can only go so far with this. You can see I've already got almost there. So let me come over here. Oh shoot, look, see? Screwed that up, huh? So hard to keep it right. So this is what I'm talking about. You can't have that happen. So now I gotta loosen this. All right, so I got this one with an extension. So that way we can get over the bolt, or the screw, or whatever the hell you call it. Okay, now let's go to the other side. Same thing. And then back and forth. Just make sure that you don't get your, see, this is pulling down here nicely. Now before we hook everything else up, we'll test it with, of course, a bucket of water. So that's pretty tight there. So you can see I'm getting very, it's pulling it all the way down to the ground. That's what you want. So we can put a cock around it. You see, but before we cock it, we pour the water in, just to make sure that this one here, I gotta come down more. It seems. All right, so we're checking it out. Looks like it's kind of on the level. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think we're kind of close. We're off a little bit. I mean, I would have to come up on this side, but actually this side's already up down here a little bit higher, and this side's a little tighter. But the toilet itself, if I move, it's stable, feels stable. I mean, it feels pretty, like it's in there pretty good. So I think we're good. Now we're gonna try a flush test. All right, so we're gonna do the flush test. And I'm gonna need an assistant to grab that and just pour that right into the toilet. We may have to, it may fill the toilet up. We might have to use 2 buckets of it. And so this is the test if you got a leak. So you're gonna know if you got a leak. First it's gonna fill the toilet up. Now we're gonna fill that bucket up again. Gonna fill it up again. And then we're gonna do like a fake flush. So we're filling that up. Then you're gonna pour it in fast, and that should flush. And we shouldn't see any water around the edges.
I thought it was a certain amount. I thought I had to fill it up a certain height.
Nope, just
Like
just pour it right in. Pour it right in.
We did 3 buckets.
There it goes.
Okay.
Apparently we did a good job. All right, we got the base of the toilet on. Now we got to put the water closet on, and then we'll be done. All right, so we got to put our caps on now to cover our little bolts down there, and they go right over like that, and you just kind of push them down.
I guess the bottom of our shoes are making this weird.
Yep, we're just going to have to clean it again. All right, so I'm going to bring the water closet in here. We're just going to set it right on top of the seat, just like that. And so what we've got to do is we got to put our bolts through here, and then we're going to bolt it to here, and then we're going to slide it down in there, and then these are going to come down, and they're going to just basically hit in there, and then we've got to tighten them down. So first thing we got to do, so I'm thinking that we'll just leave them just like that, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and it's going to go right through that hole there. It goes right through this hole, comes out the other side here. All right, you're going to do that with both of them. I'm going to come down in here and put it right through that hole. See it coming through. And there she comes through. So now you got your 2 bolts ready to go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a seal on that by taking these and squishing them on there, just like this. I'll put this here. I'm going to hold it from the inside, and we're just going to push that on, just like that. There we go. Then we're going to put our bolt right there, right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it on the inside, spin that bolt down, just like that. That's it. So here's your 2 bolts, right? And over here is where they come out. And here's one with the washer and a bolt on it. And we got to do this one here. So we grab a washer and a bolt. We're going to come back and set our washer there. And then we got to get this on here. And of course, I've got to reach down inside. I'm going to reach down inside. Try not to break anything when I do it, and then just push this down. It's gonna go right in it. I can find the hole. There we go, there's that. And there's that. And then we just push it all the way down, yeah. All right, so here we are. Now all we gotta do is get the bolt on. And then I just tighten it down, just like that. Now, got my flathead. So I get my flathead in here, and hang on to her. I can twist it pretty good in there. And then I'm going to get a wrench on it. And that's that. Now you don't really need to do it this way, but this gives you a better seal on the tank. So you've got a rubber seal here, and you also got this seal here. So this is going to keep it from dripping through there, hopefully. We'll see once we fill it all up. All right, so I got this kind of a cool tool. It kind of slides over and gets on the nut, and you can twist it down. And it's great for using underneath. So you want to make sure that you get this pretty good and tight. So that's what I'm doing. And that way you get a good seal on the bottom and the top, because you got rubber washer on the bottom, you got a rubber washer on the top. And you want to get these nice and good, nice and tight. That way no water comes out. I think we're going to be pretty good there. You've tightened make sure that you've gotten this down there tight, because you don't want the water coming through. It's got to seal. This has got to be on tight. And then we're ready to go ahead and put her on. This right here we're going to use underneath for the bolts that go under here. We're going to smush this back on here, just like that. And then this is going to go in. We're going to flip the whole thing around and set her down right on there. So we're going to pick her up. It's got to go this way. We're going to set her right down in there. And then kind of guide these in. And it's going to be all wobbly, you see? Like that. But it should stay. If you look under here, you'll see our bolts coming through. So now I got to put the washer on there and the bolt, and we're going to slowly crank them down. So we're going to need one washer, bolt, and 2 washers, 2 bolts, 2 rubber things. All right, so let's put them down here. And we're going to go back and forth just like we did with these things. We're going to do the same thing with this. All right, the first thing is we got to get it on here. As you can see, it's tippy. I just push this up, and then we got to get, that's the rubber washer there. If you see it, that I put on. And then I'm going to put on the steel washer, just like that. And then next, can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you come over here for a second? I just need you to hold this where it's at.
Hold it?
Just hold it right there.
Oh.
Just hold it right there. So she's going to stabilize it for me so I can get these bolts on. Keep it stable.
I'm trying to figure out where it's flat.
It'll be flat. It doesn't get flat until I...
What do you think this is for?
Nothing. That's for nothing. It doesn't get flat until I start to tighten it down. So this is my special tool that I use for tightening. So now I've got to come out on the... we're going to switch sides now. I'm going to come over to the other side. You come on over here and just kind of hold on to that. Just keep it stable.
Got it.
You got it. Oh. I'm going to come over here. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Let me flip it over this way so it's... All right, now, first of all, I've got to get the rubber on first. So I push that one on. Okay, then we're going to put the steel on, just like that. And then hold on to her. Then I got to get the nut on. I'm going to hold that to get my nut on there. I'm just going to do it by hand. Hang in there for just a second. Once I get it screwing, we're okay. Ready, tighty, lefty, loosey. Remember that. On all nuts and bolts and screws and anything you got to tighten. Usually that's the way it works. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to go from left to right, and I'm going to compress these bolts and the water closet onto the base of the toilet. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about 8 or 9 twists here, and then I'll slide over to the other side and do the same thing. And right now it's not very stable, but I mean it won't fall off. See if I can get it a little bit tighter.
You want it tilting from the front?
No, it's not gonna. It's gonna compress right down.
Oh.
Once I tighten these, I'm gonna come on that side here now. And here, no, you're not even close. It's up here. Hang on. Let me come over here. So you see right here. So this is the bolt, and then I've got this special tool that allows me to turn it. But as I get closer, it starts to hit. So now it's starting to tighten down.
I just realized how far away this is from the wall.
Yeah, it is far from the wall. Remember we were cleaner. So now it's getting to the point where I've got to do this. Okay, let's feel that. And then we go on this side. It's going to be wobbly until I get it really pulled down there.
Do you need me anymore?
Probably not. Should be okay. I should be okay by myself. So as you do this, it's going to get tighter and tighter. The one side, so you see, usually you can, if you're in here with a wrench, forget about it. Like a channel locks, it's so hard. So this tool really helps, especially when you can't see what you're doing. And as it gets on there, you can see it gets tight. Now I got to go to the other side. Anything over here? And this is basically go back and forth and keep tightening it. A couple screws on one side, then a couple screws on the next. And you keep doing this until the water closet becomes stable on top of the base of the toilet. It may take you a while. Don't rush. Take your time. All right, it looks like we got that on there pretty stable. As you can see, it's not moving at all. And the next phase is to get all the water lines, the supply line and the line to the bidet, and hook that all up and make sure that we don't have any leaks. Okay, so this is the bottom of your universal flow valve. You want to make sure that's on there tight. And I just use my fingers to tighten it. I think that's pretty good. Now, we've got a bidet, and I'm going to show it to you right here. And this is a fresh spa bidet. So we've got it hooked to our water supply from here, and from here. So it's a little bit more complicated than a regular install for a toilet, because we have to make this special connection here. And I've got to put some new plumber's tape on that bad boy. And then the top of it is going to connect on here. Okay, so I'll show you that in a second. Where's the plumber's tape? Okay, so now you got to hook this onto the universal. And if you see, this just twists. So that makes it easier for me. So I'm just going to get this on this side, because I'm going to need to hook it to the, and I'm just going to twist this on, really, basically. And you want to make sure you get it without, you don't want to cross thread this. And just make sure you get it on there right. And you want to get it on pretty good tight. And this twists, so you're good. Now, the water supply line is this line here, which is going to go to the shut-off valve. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. Just like you would. If this wasn't here, you would just attach this to that. Let's make sure our washer's in it, just in case. Yeah, it looks all right. Yeah, we'll find out. So you're going to tighten that down. And I'm hand tightening this, so you should be good. There we go. Right now, we've got to attach it to the shutoff valve. You can see the shutoff valve is in closed position, and I think I might put some plumber's tape on there too, because my honey's here. If she wasn't here, I wouldn't put it on. I would just tighten it down.
Honey, you have to smooth out your tape. It's delicate.
Yeah, we got to smooth it out.
Did I cut you a piece?
No, it's fine. I got it. Bam, done. All right, now we got to get this baby on there. And again, you don't want to cross thread it. This is our water supply line. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, as usual. There we go. I always go backwards first so that I don't cross thread it, and go forward. All right, almost on there. Now I'm gonna have to tighten this down with some channel locks before we go ahead and open up the water line to it. Now I'm hoping that everything in here is all sealed, but who knows. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna attach our supply line to our fresh spa bidet. I've already got plumber's tape on there because I put a whole new one on just recently, so it should be okay. Now all I've got to do is get my wrench on this, and Bob's your uncle. You know what they say. Get your wrench on it. Let me see if I can get a shot so you can see everything. All right, good. That's it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this down a little bit more. First, I got to get my channel locks to channel out. Here we go. That should be pretty tight. Now we got to get over here on the shut-off valve to tighten her down a little bit. Gotta get your channel locks right spot. What's cool about the shark bite is it does twist, so you can, change your angle on this, so I can get at it a little bit easier. I think I should be pretty tight right there. Maybe one more. Okay, maybe one more up here. Forget which way I was going. Okay, well, I think that's it. So the question is, will this sucker leak? One thing we have to do too, for this to work properly, we've got to get our flapper hooked up right and get the right adjustment and distance. I want to get this chain on there. I kind of want it right about there. That's kind of where I want to have it. Let me show you. So I kind of want it right about there. So when I lift this up, it pulls the flapper up. But so I'm going to have to move it to that link right there. So here it is. You got to kind of get it through that bend and then get it off of there. Now I can come lower, like right about here. But I got to get it in one of these links. Let's try that one. Okay, so I'm in this link. Now I can push this closed. Now what I've got to do is put this on one of these holes. If I can get it through there. All right, now let's take a look and see what it does. That might work. It's not going over the top. All right, that looks like it might work. Now the question is, if we fill this with water, is it going to leak? I certainly hope not. Okay, so we've got everything connected. We put our base on, right? Those are on. We've got all of our water lines connected, our water supply line, our connector, and we've got our flapper hooked up. So now all we have to do is turn on the water and see if it leaks. Honey, are you ready? Mm-hmm. If you look at this here, see it moves? So it kind of adjusts to your pipe. So you don't put so much stress on this here. So then you can have it like that and you're all set. Just got to remember you have to bring this perpendicular. So now to see if we've got a leak, we just got to turn it on. And apparently, looks like we're pretty good. Now let's take a look upstairs. All right, it's filling. And I think we're going to be good. See how much water we get. Bam, done. We're looking good. We got everything on there. Let's check and make sure we don't have any leaks. This is dry as a bone. Dry as a bone. Excellent. All right, so we're going to try our flush now and see how she works. So that was it. That's it. That's how it does it. So we're going to let this fill up and we're going to try another flush just to make sure that wasn't an aberration. All right, so we're filling up good. This is working great. I can even change the float a little bit to maybe get another 1/4 inch out of it. But I think that's almost where it used to fill. So that's what we want. This is an American Standard. So these American Standards are really good toilets. And this is an old style one. It's probably 25 years old. So, but you know what? It's better than anything you can buy today. So that's why I replaced all the guts in it and redid it and cleaned it all up because this thing works great. Here we go. Flush ready. And that's it. All right, Bob's your uncle. Bob's your toilet. All right, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other awesome videos on how to do stuff with plumbing and toilets. And this is, I'm not a professional, and if I can do it, so can you. And you can save money. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to pay somebody $300 to come out and do this. It's ridiculous.